bolt is rusted and it will not move. Your knuckles are bleeding from where the wrench slipped. You have been on this one bolt for 40 minutes. There's a shop 7 minutes from your house that would have this done in an hour, parts included, and you know their number by heart. You are not going to call them. You know this about yourself. You knew it before you started. You will sit on this cold concrete floor with a penetrating oil can and a breaker bar and a vocabulary your mother would not recognize until this bolt comes out, or your hand falls off, whichever comes first. And when it finally breaks loose, when you feel that quarter turn of surrender and the rust gives way, you will feel something that no mechanic's invoice has ever produced. Not satisfaction, something older than that, something your hands were built for. People think this is about money. It is not about money. You have spent more on tools than the shop would have charged for 2 years of labor. You have bought specialty equipment for a job you will do exactly once. You have ordered parts, waited for shipping, watched the tracking number refresh on your phone like a teenager waiting for a text back. If this were about money, you would have stopped a long time ago. This is the psychology of people who would rather fix their motorcycle than pay a mechanic. And by the end of this conversation, you will understand why a neuroscientist at the University of Richmond believes that the act of fixing something with your own hands activates a brain circuit that paying someone else to fix it permanently bypasses. You have a system. Maybe you do not call it that, but you have one. The way you lay out parts on a rag in the order they came off, the way you take photos of wiring before disconnecting anything, the way you line up bolts by size on the workbench edge. Nobody taught you this system. You developed it through trial and error, through the time you did not take a photo and spent 2 hours trying to remember which wire went where. Your system is a physical record of every mistake you have made and learned from. It is competence built one failure at a time. You know the moment when a repair crosses from uncertainty into control. The first hour is always the worst. Nothing fits, nothing moves, the diagram does not match your model year. And you are questioning every decision that led you to this floor instead of a phone call. And then something shifts. You find the angle, the part fits, the sequence clicks. And suddenly, you are not fighting the machine anymore. You are working with her. Your hands move faster, your confidence returns, and the anxiety of, can I do this, dissolves into the quiet focus of, I am doing this. You have noticed that you remember repairs the way other people remember vacations, not vaguely, in detail. The valve adjustment you did on a Sunday morning with the garage door open and the smell of coffee from inside the house. The chain replacement where you dropped a master link and spent 20 minutes on your hands and knees with a flashlight. The brake bleed that went perfectly the first time, and you stood there looking at the calipers with a pride so specific and so private that you could not have shared it even if someone asked. These memories are stored in high definition because your entire body was involved in making them. There's the trust thing. You know your work. You torqued every bolt. You routed every cable. You checked every connection. When you ride a motorcycle that you maintained yourself, there's a baseline of confidence that no shop receipt can provide. Not because you think you are better than a professional, because you were there. You touched every part. You know what is new, what is worn, what is good enough for another season, and what needs watching. That knowledge lives in your hands, not on a piece of paper. And when you lean into a corner at speed, knowing that the brakes, the tires, the suspension, and the engine are all there because your hands put them there, something settles in your chest that trust in a stranger's work never quite reaches. And there is the thing you do not say out loud. You could afford the mechanic, you choose not to pay one. And the choice is not about the money, it is about something that feels almost territorial. She is yours, your machine, your responsibility. Handing her to someone else, even a competent someone, feels like asking a stranger to finish a sentence you started. They might get it right, but it will not sound the way you meant it. But here's what is actually happening. And once you understand it, you will know why no shop in the world can give you what the garage floor gives you. Dr. Kelly Lambert at the University of Richmond discovered something she calls the effort-driven reward circuit. It is a specific neurological pathway that activates when the brain detects a complete cycle of physical effort leading to a visible result. Your hands do the work, your eyes see the outcome, your body feels the consequence, and your brain responds by releasing dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins in a combination that no passive experience can produce. This circuit evolved when survival depended on making and fixing things with your hands. It is ancient, and it is starving in the modern world because almost nothing you do at work involves your hands producing a tangible physical result. When you pay a mechanic, the problem gets solved, but your brain does not get the reward. The cycle is incomplete. Someone else's hands did the work. Someone else's eyes saw the bolt tighten. Your brain registered problem resolved, but it did not register I resolved it. And that distinction matters neurochemically. The dopamine release is different. The serotonin boost is absent. The satisfaction is thin, intellectual, abstract. You're glad the bike is fixed, but you do not feel it in your body the way you feel it when your own hands did the fixing. Lambert also found that the effort-driven reward is proportional to difficulty. Easy tasks produce mild reward. Difficult tasks, the ones that require problem-solving, improvisation, persistence through frustration, produce significantly stronger reward. That rusted bolt you fought for 40 minutes, your brain was measuring your persistence. And when it finally broke loose, the neurochemical payoff was amplified precisely because it was hard. If it had been easy, the reward would have been ordinary. Because it nearly defeated you, the reward was extraordinary. This is why the hardest repairs produce the deepest satisfaction. Your brain rewards struggle, not ease. There's also something Lambert's research reveals about the modern epidemic of anxiety and depression. She argues that the shift from hands-on work to screen-based work has deprived the brain of the effort-driven reward cycle that it evolved to depend on. When your ancestors were anxious, they built something, fixed something, hunted something. Physical effort with visible result restored their neurochemistry. Modern anxiety produces the same urgency, but offers no physical outlet. You sit at a desk, you type, you send. Nothing tangible happens. The brain stays in the stress cycle because the resolution cycle was never completed. When you walk into your garage and pick up a wrench, you're stepping out of the modern trap and back into the ancient loop. Your hands do work. Your eyes see the result. Your brain registers completion. The anxiety that your desk job cannot resolve, the motorcycle repair resolves in an afternoon. Not because the source of anxiety changed. Because your brain finally got the resolution signal it has been waiting for. There's a second mechanism at work, connected to flow. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi identified flow as the state where challenge and skill are perfectly matched, where the prefrontal cortex quiets down, self-criticism stops, and time distortion occurs. Motorcycle repair creates ideal flow conditions. The problems are concrete but unpredictable. They demand knowledge, dexterity, patience, and creativity. You cannot check your phone while holding a carburetor. You cannot think about tomorrow while torquing a head bolt. The cognitive demand is total, and when challenge meets skill in that sweet spot, the inner critic goes silent. The worries stop. Time disappears. 3 hours pass, and you surface feeling like you have been somewhere restful, even though your body is exhausted and your hands are wrecked. And there is a third dimension, one that connects directly to why this feels territorial. Russell Belk's self-extension theory describes how humans incorporate meaningful possessions into their sense of self. The more effort you invest in an object, the more it becomes part of you. And the inverse is also true. Allowing someone else to work on an object you have incorporated into your identity creates a subtle psychological dissonance. It is not distrust. It is the discomfort of someone else modifying something your brain classifies as me. When you say "she is mine" about your motorcycle, you are not being possessive in the consumer sense. You are describing a neurological reality. She is yours the way your skills are yours, the way your memories are yours. And maintaining her yourself is the act that reinforces that bond. So when someone sees you on a Saturday, lying on cold concrete with a breaker bar, covered in grease, bleeding from a knuckle, with a perfectly good shop down the road, what they see is stubbornness. What is actually happening is that you are running 3 neurological circuits at once. The effort-driven reward circuit is activating with every bolt you turn. The flow state is deepening with every hour of absorbed problem solving. And the self-extension bond is strengthening with every repair your hands complete. You are not saving money. You are doing something that your brain recognizes at a level deeper than language. Building, maintaining, and caring for something that is part of who you are with the only tools that matter, your own 2 hands. The shop can fix the bike, only you can fix the bond. And your brain knows the difference even if you have never thought about it this way. There is one more thing worth understanding. The knowledge you build through self-maintenance is cumulative and irreplaceable. Every repair teaches you something about the machine that no manual contains and no mechanic will share. You learn her specific tolerances. You learn which bolts need an extra quarter turn and which ones strip if you breathe on them too hard. You learn the sound of a healthy idle versus the sound of a healthy idle that is 300 miles away from needing attention. This knowledge is not transferable. It lives in your hands, in your ears, in the muscle memory of how hard to push and when to stop pushing. And it makes you a better rider, because the person who understands how a machine works at the component level rides it differently than the person who just turns the key. You feel things that other riders miss. You anticipate problems before they announce themselves. Your wrenching makes your riding more precise, and your riding makes your wrenching more purposeful. They are not separate activities. They are 2 halves of the same relationship. If this conversation sounded like it was written from inside your garage, subscribe. This is where riders come to understand why they do the things they do. And tell me in the comments, what is the repair that almost broke you? The one you almost gave up on, almost called the shop, and then something in you said, no, one more try. What happened on that last try? I want to hear it.